Hello everyone, myself Heli Mehta, working as an assistant professor in computer engineering department at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. Our subject is computer network. Our unit is 4, that is network layer. Okay, so network layer is responsible for delivering packet between endpoints over multiple links. Okay, so we have a multiple connection, we have a multiple links, and network layer transfer the packet between endpoints of multiple links. Network layer is the lowest level in the OSI reference model that I have explained in the lecture of OSI reference model that deals with the end-to-end transmission. Okay, it provides service to the transport layer. Okay, the services should be independent of the router technology. The transport layer should be selected from the number, type and topology of the routers present. Okay, the network addresses made available to the transport layer should use a uniform numbering plan even across LANs and WANs. Okay, so network layer deliver packets between endpoints of multiple links and it transfer the packets to source to destination and it provides services to the transport layer. Okay, so network layer design issues. So first is store and forward packet switching. Second is services provided to the transport layer. Third is implementation of connection less services. And fourth is implementation of connection oriented services. These four are the network layer design issues. So first is store and forward packet switching. Okay, so host H1 is directly connected to one of the ISP's router A. Okay, perhaps as a home computers that is plugged into a DSL modem. Okay, here we have a diagram of store and forward packet switching. Here we have a host H1, here we have a host H2. Okay, and here we process P1 is running, here process P2 is running. Okay, we are transferring packets, okay, from host H1 to host H2. Okay, so see here. In contrast, H2 is on a LAN which might be an office internet Ethernet with a router F. Okay, on and operated by the customers. Okay, so we have a two host H1 and host H2. Okay, so a host with a packet to send transmit it to the nearest router either on its own LAN or over a point-to-point link to an ISP. The packet is stored there until it has fully arrived and the link has finished its processing by verifying the checksum. Then it is forwarded to the next router along the path until it reaches the destination host where it is delivered. This mechanism is stored and forward packet switching. Okay, so see here we have a multiple routes. Okay, so we can transfer our packets from host H1 to host H2 via multiple paths. So from here we can send via B2, D2, E2, F2. Our H2 we can also send our packet from A2, C2, E2, F2. Our host H2 also we can send A2, C2, D2, E2, F2, H2. Okay, so this is the most important functionality that they select the effective path. Okay, so the packet is stored there until it has fully arrived at the link and he finishes its processing by verifying the checksum. Okay, so after collecting the whole packet, okay, then and then they send the packet to the next node. Okay, so the packet is stored until it has fully arrived. Okay, so this is known as the store and forward packet switching. Okay, so this is the diagram. Second is services provided to the transport layer. That is the second design issue of the network layer. Okay, the network layer transfer its services to the transport layer. Okay, that I have explained in the earlier lectures. Okay, the network layer services have been designed with the following goals in the mind. Okay, so 3 points you keep in the mind before transferring the services to transport layer. Offering services must not depend on the router technology. Okay, so we are providing the services, it is not depends on the router technology, which technology they are using. Okay, the transport layer needs to be protected from the type, number and topology of the available router, so they are not depend on the router technology. The network addresses for the transport layer should be used uniform numbering pattern also at LAN and WAN connection. So we have to provide the uniform numbering pattern. So these three points you have to keep in mind. Okay, so based on the connections, there are two types of services provided. Okay, so first is connection less services and second is connection oriented services. The routing and insertion of packets into subnet is done individually. No added setup is required. Okay, so for connection less, as name suggests, no connection is required between nodes. Okay, connection oriented, as name suggests, we have to first set up the connection. Subnet must offer reliable services and all the packets must be transmitted over a single route. Okay, so these are the connection less and connection oriented services. Third design issue is connection less services, that is also known as datagrams. Let us see how a datagram subnet works. Okay, suppose that the process P1 in the figure has a long message for P2. Okay, so see here we have a process P1 and process P2. Process P1 is running on host H1 and process P2 is running on host H2. This is the host H1 and this is the host H2. Okay, so it hands the message to the transport layer with instruction to deliver it to process P2 on the host H2. Okay, so we have a host H1 and host H2. Okay, process P1 is running on the host H1 and process P2 is running on the host H2. We have to send a long message from process P1 to process P2. Okay, the transport layer codes run on H1. Okay, typically within the operating system, it prepend a transport header to the front of the message and hands the result to the network layer, probably just another procedure within the operating systems. Okay, so our code is running on the H1, that is our host H1. Okay, here we are sending the packets. Okay, different packets may take different path. Okay, so we are sending the packets from host H1 to host H2. So see here packet 1, 2 and 3. So packet 1, 2 and 3 are selecting this part, that is A to C, C to E and E to F. That is packet 1, packet 2 and packet 3. They are selecting one part. Now packet 4 select this part, A to B, B to D, D to E and this. Then it's sent to node host H2. Okay, so we have a multiple paths available here. So different packets may take different path. Okay, so here we have a table A. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, here we have a node from where they are going. Okay, so node A to C, C to D and E to F. Okay, so we can select any path, okay, for the packets. So let's us assume that the message is 4 times longer than the maximum packet size. So the network layer has to break into the 4 packets. Okay, so our message is divided into 4 parts, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, now what happened? Packet 1, 2, 3, 4 and send each of them in turn to router using some point-to-point protocols, for example PPE, point-to-point protocols. Okay, so we have a long message, so we are dividing our message into 4 parts. Okay, that is 1, 2, packet 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, at this point the carrier takes over. Every router has an internal table telling it where to send packet for each possible destination. Okay, each table entry is a pair consisting of a destination and the outgoing line to use for that destinations. Okay, so here we have a table. Okay, only directly connected lines can be used. For example, in figure A has only 2 outgoing lines, to B2, B and C. So for A we have a B and C. Okay, even if ultimate destination is some other routers, A's initial routing table is shown in the figure under the label initially. Okay, however something different happened to packet 4. When it goes to A, it was sent to router B, even though it is also destinated for F. For some reasons, A decided to send packet 4 via a different route than that of the first 3. That I explained over here. We have a 4 packets. Okay, 3 packets select these routes and A select different route for packet 4. Okay, so perhaps it learns of a traffic jam somewhere along the ACE path and updated its routing table as shown under the label later. The algorithm that manages the table and makes the routing decision is called the routing algorithms. Okay, so routing algorithm is used to managing the routing table. Okay, so when we are sending some message from host 1 to host 2 and we have a multiple paths. Okay, then routing decision must be taken from which route we can send the packets. Okay, so this is the connection layer services of, it is also known as datagrams. Okay, so packets are termed as a datagrams and corresponding subnets as a datagram subnets. Okay, we can say packet as a datagrams. When the message size that has to be transmitted is 4 times the size of the packets, then the network layer divides into 4 packets and transmit each packet to router via a few protocols. Okay, that I have explained. We have a so long message, so we divide that into 4 parts. Each data packet has destination address and it routed independently irrespective of the packets. And fourth reason issue is connection oriented, that is also known as a virtual circuits. Okay, now for connection oriented services we need a virtual circuit subnet. This idea behind virtual circuits is to avoid having to choose a new route for every packet sent. Okay, when a connection is established, a route from the source machine to the destination machine is chosen as a part of the connection setup and stored in the table inside the routers. Okay, so here first we have to establish the connection between source and destination. Okay, so when connection is established, a route from the source machine to destination machine is chosen as a part of connection, as we have to make the setup between source and destination. Okay, and store this in the table. Okay, this route is stored in the table. The route is used for all traffic flowing over the connection, as we have a multiple routes. Okay, remember this, the route is used for all traffic flowing over the connection. When the connection is released, the virtual circuit is also terminated. Okay, after transmitting packet successfully, connection is released. Okay, with connection oriented service, each packet carries an identifier telling which virtual circuit it belongs to. Okay, so we have a virtual circuit and every packet carries their identification numbers. Okay, as an example, consider the situation in the figure. The host H1 has established connection 1 with host H2. Okay, so host H1 is connection established with H2. Okay, it is remembered as a first entry in each of the routing table. Okay, the first line of the ACE table says that if packet bearing connection identifier 1 comes in the form from H1. Okay, so here we have a 1 that identified it came from the H1. It is to be sent to router C and given connection identifier 1. Okay, similarly the first entry at C router, the packet routes the packet to E also with connection identification 1. Okay, so here we have a to B and A to C. So packet is transferred here A to C, then C to E. Okay, so if we have identification number 1, then it means the packet is came from the host H1. Okay, so this is the concept. This is the 3 host H1 as H3, and here we have a H2 and we have a multiple paths over here. Okay, so this is the line tag, that is H1 from H1. It is came from H1. 1 means. Okay, that is connection oriented virtual circuits. Okay, now let us consider what happen if H3 or H3 also wants to establish a connection to H2. Okay, so here first connection is established between H1 and H2. Okay, now what happen if H3 also want to make connection with H2. Okay, so it chosen connections identifiers 1 and tells the subnet to establish the virtual circuit. This lead to the second row in the table. Okay, so for that we have to establish this row. Okay, that with H1 make the connection, now H3 will make the connection. Okay, so remember this lead to second row in the table. Okay, so this, not that we have a conflict here, because although A can easily distinguish connection 1 packet from H1 from connection 1 packet from H3, C cannot do this. Okay, for this reason A assign a different connection identifier to the outgoing traffic for the second connection. Okay, so here C is confused. Okay, from where it is came. Okay, if we are giving this 1, then C will confuse. This packet is came from H1 or H3. Okay. Okay, so avoiding conflicts of this kind is why routers need the ability to replace connection identification in outgoing packets. In some contexts, this is called a label switching. Okay, so to avoid this conflict, okay, this is known as a label switching. Label is given. To use the connection oriented services, first we establish a connection, use it, and then release it. So remember that in connection less we have a no connection. Okay, now here we have to establish the connection, okay, and then after use it we have to release it. In connection oriented services, the data packets are delivered to the receiver in the same order in which they have been sent by the sender. Okay, so in same order we send the data, and in same order receiver will receive the data. It can done in either two way, that is circuit switching connection and second is virtual circuit switching connection. Okay, in circuit switching connection, dedicated physical path or a circuit is established between the communicating nodes and then data stream is transferred. Okay, so first dedicated physical path or circuit is established. So first of all, in connection oriented we have to establish a path, okay, and the communicating node, and then the data stream is transferred. Okay, so suppose we have to send the data from host h1 to host h2, then we have to make physical path between h1 and h2, then we can transfer the data. Virtual circuit switch connection, the data stream is transferred over a packet switch network in such a way that it seems to the user that there is a dedicated path from the sender to the receiver. A virtual path is established here, while other connection may also be using the same path. Okay, so here we are generating virtual paths between the sender and receiver. So we can send data using these two methods. Okay, see comparison of virtual circuit and datagrams. Okay, so circuit setup in datagram is also known as connection less, so no need of circuit setup here we require. So first we have to make the circuit setup, and then after using we have to release the path. Okay, now addressing, each packet contain the full source and destination address. Okay, source and destination address is available in the packets. Each packet contain the short VC number. Okay, that is virtual circuit number. State information, routers do not hold state information about connection. Okay, each virtual circuit requires router table space per connections. Routing, each packet is routed independently. Here route chosen when VC is set up, all packets follow it. Okay, so here no route is fixed. Okay, they choose independently as it is connection less. Here we have to choose the path when we are making setup between, for example, host h1 and h2, then all the packet must follow it. Okay, effect of routers failure, none except for the packets lost during the crash. Okay, so if packet is lost, then we have a failure. All VCs that pass through the failed router are terminated. Okay, so we have to choose first path. Okay, and if it is failed, then all the packets travel from that path, they have to terminate, because the our VC that passed through the failed router, then all the packets are terminated. Quality of service is difficult, easy if enough resources can be allocated in the advance for each VC. So it is difficult, it is easy. Congestion control, it is difficult, easy if enough resources can be allocated in the advance for each VC. Okay, so this is the basic comparison between datagram network and virtual circuit. Okay, so we have a two type, that is connection less services and connection oriented services. So there are the four network layer design issues, that is store and forward packetting, services provided to the transport layer, implementation of connection layer services, that is datagram, and implementation of connection oriented services. These all are the network layer design issue. Okay, thank you.